magic, but Takeru says he just copied someone else. Clay also tells him he's received a notice allowing him to rank up, so why hasn't he done it yet? Takeru says he doesn't want extra attention. Back at the guild, a staff member gives Takeru his reward for completing a job and encourages him to rank up because it would benefit the guild too. But Takeru refuses, saying he enjoys doing low-rank jobs and it keeps unwanted attention away. He simply wants a peaceful life. Suddenly, someone rushes in, saying goblins are attacking. All adventurers prepare for battle. The head adventurer orders all D-rank and higher adventurers to gather at the North Station. He also calls for all healing mages and doctors. He asks if there are any A-rank adventurers in the city. Muesli says only Clay is available right now. Hearing all this, Takeru thinks his rank is only F, so this has nothing to do with him. He starts leaving, but the head adventurer stops him and says, "You're coming with us too." So now, even though he doesn't want to, Takeru has no other choice but to follow his orders. In the next scene, that same guy gathers everyone together and tells them that the southwest Stevlo Plains will be the front line. That's where the goblins will come from to reach Belkame. They have to stop them from crossing the bridge. Hearing that, all the adventurers shout with excitement. Watching their enthusiasm, Takeru thinks that these people are insanely pumped up. There's no way he can keep up with them. Seeing him so scared, a few adventurers tell him that since he's an F rank, he should try not to get in their way. After saying that, they start making fun of him. But then that same man walks over. He looks at Takeru and says, "You're that gatherer everyone's been talking about, right? I've heard a lot of good things about you from the guildmaster." He explains that the guildmaster rarely praises anyone like this. After saying that, he stares at Takeru seriously. Takeru just smiles back at him, and seeing that, the man gets surprised and says that Takeru is interesting. He says Takeru is probably the first person who didn't get intimidated by his presence. He tells Takeru that even though he doesn't look like it, he believes he can handle himself just fine. He knows Takeru can protect himself, so he should protect whatever it is he wants to protect. After saying that, he walks away and tells Muesli that the rest is up to her. Muesli apologizes to Takeru for the guildmaster's behavior. This is when we realize that the man from earlier wasn't the guildmaster. This guy is. In the next scene, they all reach their destination. That's when Muesli spots a monster and gets terrified. She even starts crying. Takeru calms her down and reminds her that this is a battlefield. She can use healing magic, so she doesn't need to fight. She should focus on helping people heal. He tells her that being scared like this is normal and she shouldn't be ashamed of feeling fear. People fight because they're scared. They fight because they want to survive. She also has the power to survive, so she should use it. After hearing this, Muesli feels a bit motivated and says she'll do whatever she can. Then she leaves. We see that Clay was listening to all of this. Clay tells Takeru that he's quite a passionate person. Takeru asks him why he's here when he should be on the front line. Clay says his old wound has been hurting badly today. Takeru says he already noticed and asks if the pain comes from the scars on his back. Clay says yes, but to a warrior that scar is like a badge of shame. A wound on the back usually implies he got it while running away. But Takeru tells him that he knows Clay got that injury while protecting someone. If he survived even after taking such a massive wound, it means he's strong enough to protect others too. So why should he feel ashamed? Hearing this makes Clay genuinely happy. Suddenly, they see that the goblins have broken through the front line and reached their area. Clay decides to move forward. Takeru tries stopping him, reminding him of the pain, but Clay says that even if his body breaks, he'll still protect Takeru and everyone else. Then he runs off to fight. Takeru notices that Muesli is healing everyone, and she's no longer scared. Seeing that, he realizes he can't just sit around doing nothing. So he casts a magic shield around that area to protect the people there and heads out to find Clay. The scene shifts to the battlefield where two adventurers are struggling to handle a huge number of goblins. Some goblins get past them and start heading toward Belkame. That's when Takeru arrives. He hardens his arm and starts taking down goblins instantly. Then B uses his lightning power to wipe out the rest. When Takeru asks the adventurers how the monsters made it this far, they reveal that a high-ranking monster, a goblin sergeant, showed up. Because of that, the front line collapsed. They say they only escaped because of Clay. Next, we see Clay himself fighting a huge crowd of goblins, but he's reaching his limit. The goblins get ready to finish him off, but B shows up and destroys them with lightning. Seeing Takeru, Clay asks what he's doing there. Takeru says his condition isn't good enough to keep fighting, and his wound is hurting too much. He tells Clay they should retreat, regroup, and plan a counterattack. He says B and he can still fight, so Clay should relax. But Clay says no. Even if they run, the goblins will catch them. That's when the goblin sergeant appears and attacks them. More goblins surround them, forcing them to fight. During the battle, Takeru asks Clay if that wound on his back means something important to him, and why he never healed it. Clay says he hates that scar. It reminds him of a mistake he made. So Takeru tells him that if he hates the scar so much, he'll erase it. He takes out a flask of magic water from his bag and pours it on Clay's back, and then he uses his power to heal it completely. Clay's injury heals, but then he transforms and becomes far stronger than before. Now he easily destroys the enemies. Later, when the Guildmaster arrives, he asks Takeru if he was the one who awakened Clay's power. Takeru says he only used some healing magic, but the Guildmaster says that's not totally true. He heard Takeru cast a pretty strong spell on Clay. He asks who Takeru really is. Takeru simply says he's just a normal F-rank adventurer who gathers materials. The Guildmaster finds that suspicious, but lets it go and says the guild will reward him for his actions. That night, Clay is back to normal. He asks Takeru what he did to give him so much power. Takeru explains that he just used magic element water and cast a spell called Retifulias. He says that the water came from an underground lake connected to the home of an ancient dragon. Hearing this, Clay is shocked and asks, "Ancient dragon? Who is that?" Takeru explains that they're B's parents. After hearing this, Clay becomes even more surprised and asks Takeru why he poured that water on him in the first place. Takeru says he thought doing that would speed up his healing. Clay then says, "So that means you can use advanced healing spells too?" Takeru replies that he was only copying what he had seen before. Apparently, healing magic becomes far more effective when he imagines the body's composition. It worked because he already knew that the important nerves are concentrated inside the back. Hearing all this, Clay becomes completely shocked and asks Takeru to tell the truth about who he really is. Takeru starts thinking hard about what he should do. God never told him that he can't reveal his identity, but if the truth comes out, he won't be able to live a normal life anymore. At the same time, he feels guilty because Clay's appearance changed because of him. Thinking about all of this stresses Takeru out. Seeing him troubled, Clay says he doesn't have to tell him anything if it makes him uncomfortable, and apologizes for forcing him. After saying that, Clay begins to leave, but Takeru stops him and says that he trusts him, and that's why he will tell him. He explains that he's from another world. Clay is shocked again and asks if he means he reincarnated. Takeru tells him yes, he already died once and was reborn inside this body. Then we see Takeru explain everything about how he arrived in this world. Clay doesn't fully believe the story, but he admits that Takeru healed his old injury and turned him into a dragon newt, so maybe it's true. Takeru asks what a dragon newt is. Clay explains that it's the ancestral species of lizard men, meaning their ancestors used to have this form. He says he's proud to have awakened this form, but he's afraid that whenever he transforms, he might lose control and destroy everything around him. Takeru tells him not to worry. He believes Clay will eventually learn how to control this form, but Clay tells him that things don't work like that, and that Takeru is extremely careless. Clay says he's been wanting to tell him this for a long time, that Takeru knows nothing about this world, so he tells him to sit down with him today, and he'll teach him everything. In the next scene, we see Takeru entering the craftsman district to buy something. He arrives at the shop of a legendary blacksmith. In front of the shop, he meets a girl named Rebil, who asks him what he needs. He tells her that he wants to buy scissors because he needs them for gathering materials. Hearing this, Rebil asks if he's the same gatherer everyone has been talking about. He says yes, his name is Takeru. Rebil becomes excited and says it's nice to meet him. She tells him her master, Grusus, can help him. He is a top-class blacksmith. But there's one item Grusus needs, and Takeru has to bring that item first. Takeru agrees, and then they go inside the shop. There, he sees the blacksmith working. Seeing the craftsmanship, Takeru says that the work is truly amazing. Rebil agrees and says that one day she will learn Grusus's techniques and forge a sword for a hero. After that, they go to meet Grusus. The moment Grusus sees Takeru, he realizes that Takeru is the famous material gatherer everyone has been talking about. Rebil then speaks to her grandmother and says she was thinking that Takeru could bring Idra Orb for them. so they could forge a sword and participate in the craftsman exhibition. But her grandmother immediately refuses, saying that Idra Ore is found inside the Ruhai mine, and for a gatherer, going there is extremely dangerous. Ribble tries to push the idea and says they should at least ask him once, but her grandfather still refuses. He explains that the Ruhai mine is filled with monsters, and according to rumors, there are even demons inside. Hearing this, Ribble adds that she heard the supply of Idra Ore has dropped because of those demons. She apologizes she mentioned this to Kiru earlier. Her grandmother scolds her and says she doesn't value life at all, and that she no longer even deserves to hold a hammer. She says she appreciates Ribble for bringing Takiru there, but that doesn't mean they would send him to his death just because they are desperate to win the exhibition. And after hearing this, Ribble realizes her mistake and apologizes to Takiru, telling him to forget everything they discussed. But after listening to all of this, Takiru speaks to her grandfather and asks if the ore they need really is inside the Ruhai mine. He then says that if he brings back the ore safely, would they make special equipment for him as a reward, items that only he can use. The grandfather is shocked and asks if Takiru didn't hear what he just said about the monsters. Takiru calmly tells him not to worry, and that whatever is down there, he can handle it. After saying that, Takiru places a piece of the giant crab monster on the table. Seeing this, the grandfather is stunned and says that even B-rank adventurers struggle to defeat that monster. Takiru replies that it wasn't difficult for him at all, and asks them to let him take the job because he can bring the ore back. Hearing this, the grandfather finally agrees. In the next scene, Takiru sets out for the Ruhai mine. Before reaching it, they have to pass through Buira village, which they manage without any trouble. Along the way, Takiru notices that there are two other people riding on the same carriage. They start talking about how strange things have been happening lately. They mention that the poisonous herbs near Robbery Pass suddenly withered overnight, and that there have been strange disturbances in the White Tree Forest as well. Hearing this, Takiru starts wondering if all of this might somehow be his fault. But then he quickly shakes the thought away, telling himself that there's no way that could be true. After that, Takiru finally comes down there. Once he lands, he notices a horse trader's house nearby. Seeing it, he starts thinking to himself how nice it would be if he had a horse too, something he could ride while traveling. Just then, he suddenly hears the voice of the same elf. She is talking to the horse trader and says that she wants a white horse, not a bird. The man replies that for them this creature counts as a horse because it can carry luggage. But if she truly wants a white horse, meaning a white Pegasus, then she should go to Vorial, which is the dwarf kingdom. The girl agrees with him. She is also feeling very hungry now, so she leaves the place. Hearing all this, Takiru thinks to himself that she is heading to the same place as them. Before moving forward, Takiru enters a forest. There, he starts collecting various materials. Suddenly, he sees the same elf again. She looks hungry and thirsty. Takiru decides to help her and gives her water and food, but even after that, he notices a bad smell coming from her. So he uses cleanse magic and completely cleans her. Seeing this, the girl becomes very happy. She then introduces herself and tells him her name is Vel. She says that whenever someone helps an elf, elves always return the favor. She offers to help Takiru with his work. Takiru agrees and says that they will take her help at least until they reach the next town. After that, all of them gather a lot of items in the forest together. Night starts approaching, and Vel says she will go collect firewood. Takiru tells her that it's not necessary because he has magic stones to light a fire. But Vel explains that if they use real firewood and make a proper campfire, other adventurers passing by will know that this is a safe camping spot and can use it as well. Takiru realizes she is right and praises her for her smart thinking. Vel then goes into the forest, but instead of bringing firewood, she comes back carrying an entire chunk of a tree. Takiru looks confused and tells her that they only needed firewood. Vel tells him not to worry. She throws the large piece of wood into the air, pulls out her knife, and unleashes multiple attacks on it. In seconds, the tree chunk breaks into many small pieces of firewood, perfect for starting a fire. Takiru notices that the sword Vel is carrying is an A-rank weapon. In the next scene, Takiru cooks a meal. Vel loves the food and praises his cooking. She then asks him if he is also going to Vorial. Takiru replies that he's going there because he got a job. He needs to collect Idra ore. He then asks her what she is going to do. Vel says that she is searching for the Heaven's White Pegasus. Her sister, Huvertikara, has been waiting for it for a long time. After finishing the meal, Takiru tells her that since he has taken her help again, he should do something in return. Vel agrees. Takiru then suggests hiring her as his bodyguard. He also tells her that he wants to learn the technique she used to cut the wood so skillfully. Vel accepts his offer and agrees to become his bodyguard. Later, it's time to sleep. B and Vel snore so loudly that Takeru can't sleep at all. The next morning, they continue their journey, but Takeru has no energy left. Dark circles appear under his eyes because he couldn't sleep all night. Soon they reach a river. Once they cross it, they will enter the Dwarf Kingdom and reach the Ryohi Mountains. After entering the kingdom, they first go to a restaurant and eat a special dwarf dish, which tastes amazing. Vel says that her friend also told her how delicious it was. She mentions that her friend is a legend man. Hearing this, Takeru is surprised and says that he also knows a legend man. Vel explains that her friend is an honorary dragon king and a holy dragon knight of the Stolfus Empire. She says he mentioned going to Belkheim, so Takeru might have already met him. That's when it's revealed that the person she is talking about is none other than Clay. He's sitting nearby eating his food and overhears their conversation. Clay introduces himself and says that Takeru is his friend. However, he is clearly angry that Takeru left town without telling him. Seeing Clay angry, Takeru gets nervous and apologizes. He explains that he did report to the guild, but forgot to inform Clay because he planned to be gone only for a short time. He says he is heading to the Ruhane mine to collect Idra ore. Clay warns him that his rank is too low to get a mining contract there. He also says that the place is extremely dangerous. Takeru replies that the reward will be worth it. Master Grusus promised to make Caesar tools for him if he completes the job. Takeru jokes that if Grusus is extra happy, he might even make him a cooking pot and a complete frying pan. Clay then says that if that's the case, he will go with them. He also needs to visit Voreal to get his spear repaired. Hearing this, Vel gets excited and says that Clay can also become Takeru's bodyguard. Clay agrees, and now both of them become Takeru's bodyguards. In the next scene, they reach the city entrance, but the line is extremely long. Since Clay is a special person, he quickly gets Takeru and Vel inside. The guard escorting them explains that Voreal originally started as a mining settlement built inside massive caves. He welcomes them to the Dwarf Kingdom. Takeru is shocked when he sees the city because the entire place is underground. The guard then tells Clay that the king wants to meet him. Takeru is surprised and asks if Clay knows the king. Clay replies that he does, but their relationship is complicated. The guard corrects him and says that it's not complicated at all. He calls Clay the hero who saved Thunder King Zangam. Takeru asks if that's true. Clay humbly says it's not that big of a deal. He explains that in the past, dwarfs could only do smithing and couldn't use weapons. Because of that, they had to pay tribute to the Demon King. But when the demon saw Clay leaving the place, he got scared and ran away. Whereas, the guard adds that to celebrate that day, they even built a statue. They see the statue, and it really exists, but it looks more like Godzilla than Clay. It doesn't resemble him at all. Clay gets angry and demands to know why such a statue was made. The king says that the statue looks amazing. Takeru then introduces himself properly and hands over a letter from Grusus. The king reads the letter. It is from Grusus, the representative of the blacksmith guild in Belkheim's commercial district. The letter requests permission for Takeru to enter the Ruhane mine. The king hesitates and explains that months ago, many demons moved into the mine, causing fear among the people. There are many powerful demons inside. He asks Takeru if he still wants to go. Takeru replies that he does. Clay steps in and assures the king that both he and Vel will accompany Takeru. Since they are skilled warriors, the king agrees. The king then asks them to investigate why so many demons have gathered in the Ruhane mine. Takeru is shocked and says that he came only to collect Idra ore, not to uncover demon secrets. But in the end, he has no choice but to accept the king's request. After that, they arrive at the mine entrance. There, they meet a man named Zumbo, the receptionist of the city's adventurer guild. He will guide them inside the mine. Once inside, the mine is extremely dark. Takeru uses light magic to illuminate the area and starts reading the map to figure out where they are. As they move further ahead, they realize that the ores here are only low level. Because of that, they decide to go even deeper into the mine. Suddenly, 2 spiders attack them. However, Clay and Vel work together and easily defeat the monsters. After going deeper, Takeru notices that the magical concentration in this area is extremely dense. Soon, they reach a path where there is no way forward. Even so, Takeru can sense that there is something beyond this wall. He asks Zumbo if he is allowed to do some mining here, and Zumbo agrees. Takeru tells everyone to step back. He then causes an explosion and breaks through the wall in front of them. Zumbo is shocked when he sees what lies beyond. There's an Indriite vein here, which is even rarer than Idra ore. Takeru scans it and learns that Indriite is actually a crystallized form of Idra ore. Just then, they realize that the demon living inside the cave is coming straight toward them. Seeing this, Takeru starts to get a little angry. He tells Vel and Clay to let him handle this demon because it is their prey. They soon discover that the demon is actually a massive crab. The moment Takeru and B see it, their mouths start watering because they both love the taste of crab. Vel and Clay are shocked to see that Takeru and B are thinking about eating it.